All right, everybody, we're back. I'm riding solo today. Sanani is not here, she's away. But we're talking football this week on our Olympics talk. And today I've got a guest with me, Tiyani Mabasa. He is a director and editor of Far Post. He's a well-renowned football writer in this country. And he's going to be talking to me today about the under-23 side and our chances at the Olympics this year. Mr. Mabasa, how are you doing, Boza? Nice to have you on the show today.
Nice, boss. Thanks for having me, man. I always follow your work.
Yeah,
Quite interesting.
yeah,
So much you do around that area in football where people actually don't delve much into it, but when they
yeah.
do, it's so interesting. You always go back and refer, and now I'm sure a lot of people are gonna go to either Royal AM or Spokane United to find out
Exactly.
who are the owners.
Who are the owners? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, man, for coming through. Hey, and there's a nice little PSL drama that's gonna happen in the next few weeks with
We'll see.
with Royal AM and Skip Kunen. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that one. It's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be interesting. But anyway, let's get into the meat of it. David Notwane
Yeah,
has prepared a team. He's got a 40-man shortlist for the Olympics. It's looking good. But let's look at the coach himself. David Notwane, he's worked on the under 20s. He's now the under 23 coach. He's done some work with Sundowns. How would you rate David Notwane himself as a coach in general, and how he's worked with the team before?
No, I rate him highly. In fact, I think he's a good coach and he's got a good track record. If you look at the way Sundowns played under him,
Yeah,
it's quite interesting football. You could see that they are being coached by someone,
yeah,
with a clear understanding of football, And for me, even the players that he had in the team, you could see that it actually picked some good players.
yeah,
Even when he's coached in the junior structures, I think to be fair to him, he's always picked the right players.
yeah,
As far as our junior teams are concerned, and that's why he's done well with them. And credit where credit is due. The man has done well, and I can only hope right now as a South African and as a big football follower
yeah.
that is going to follow up on that, and that they're going to do very well in the Olympics. It's my wish that some of those players, he's going to help them.
Yeah, and in this country, we have a little bit of a problem with regards to our conveyor belt of players. The
Yes,
under 23
absolutely,
side should be the feeder to the national team. You know,
without
um,
a doubt.
but if you look at the problem of this conveyor belt, you know, um, Devon Otwane has a it's not the easiest job that he has. He has a very
Mm,
good, squad of players. But what he should be doing is he should be feeding those players onto the national team. And actually players, before him, the under 17s, under 16s, under 12s, and so on, should be feeding into his team. How do you think we can
absolutely.
fix this conveyor belt problem? How do you think we can fix that issue of players not getting from maybe both the non-nations cup all the way through
Mm.
to the senior side?
Yeah, firstly, Nabs, it starts with us, all of us, the coaches, the fans, the SAFA leadership, everyone involved. I think we need to change our mentality in a
Mhm.
sense that in this country, if you are 16, if you're 17, you are too young, you
Yeah,
know, and that actually affects their progress because instead of a player being judged purely on his football ability, is
yeah,
then judged on age, which is
yeah,
completely wrong. People talk about the other countries that introduce 16-year-olds that are doing very well. Look
yeah,
at Phil Foden at Man City. They were not scared to give him a chance. Why
yeah,
are we scared to give them a chance? That's
yeah,
why our players, they fall by the wayside because instead of Naps being given a chance at 16, we
yeah,
are all waiting and saying, yeah, he must first gain experience. Experience where?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Firstly, if we can do that, if we can change our mentality around age, then we are going somewhere. The problem The biggest problem is we think 20-year-old is still young, while other countries check. I remember when Lucas Podolski, I think when he reached 100 caps for 50 or 100 caps for Germany, he was only 23.
Yeah.
Now the difference is with our South African players at that age, they have not even made their senior national team debut. That's why you end up with players who get their first call up at age 30. You know, we've seen it happen. Example, Veli Mota from Amazon. You know, he just got his call up not long ago. He's 30 years old. It's the first time he's in the senior national team, and he's going to play against guys who were there with their under 17s in their countries, under 20s, under 23s or under 21s. And then by the time they're in the senior national team, they have experience at international level. The difference is he may be a good player as Veli Mota, but it doesn't have the experience, you see. So if we can fix that, that's point number one. Point number two, which is quite short, is that if you look at the coaches, they don't work together. The under 17 coach, under 20 coach, under 23 coach, for me, there's no structure there. So these guys are supposed to work together. The coach with the under 17s take the players into the under 20. He or she must be the assistant to the under 20 coach from the under 70. And you are then able to integrate those players from the under 70s into the under 20 setup and so on and so on until they get to the senior national team. Unfortunately, we don't do that. We don't have a structure in terms of that. If we can fix that, I think we'll solve a lot of problems for ourselves.
All right. No, I completely agree with you there. I would also go as far as to have leagues at junior level. I remember when I used to go to school, when I was at school, we had leagues and interprovincial teams, and then you would fight for national team duty. Even at under 13 level, you would fight for, you know, but nowadays you never hear of that. Schools are not playing football anymore.
Imagine what that does for the rest of your career. Because now you'll have to fight for your spot in the under 15s, in the under 17s. But there you only fight for your spot very, very late. You know, some people or some players rather, they've never even played for the juniors by the time they are called up to the senior national team. So you see, the break in between affects them a lot, because in terms of that international experience, they don't have it. They may be a good player. I don't disagree. You may be a good player, but if you don't have that international experience, and then all of a sudden you have to face a guy who's played national team football all his life, it's going to make a huge difference, you see, you know?
If you look at England, for example, Declan Rice and Mason Mount are the same age. Those guys have been playing together since they were 10, less than 10. And fine, they may be playing in two different teams now, but they know each other's styles from way back then. So it's easier when they gel as a team much later in life, because for them, they know each other. They've played it. They've played with each other.
Yeah, even if you look at Spain, there was a time when they realized that their football was going nowhere. And then they said, let's restart this thing. Let's do things properly. That's when they identified the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, all those guys. Now they come together. They played together all their lives. Imagine now you meet them on the field. You are just coming. You are 30 years old. Someone else is coming in. They're 27 years old. You meet guys who've been playing together since maybe 10, 12. You know, they're going to destroy you. They know each other well. So it's not just about football ability. These combinations, they don't just happen overnight. You know, happen because those guys have been together for so long. Even when we've had opportunities to actually integrate guys who were together for some time, we never took those opportunities. For example, we had the under 20 team that went to the World Cup in Egypt in 2009, and they were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Those guys never played together after that. The likes of Kamohelo Mukocho, Andile Jali, Ramahlwe Mphahlele, Sibuso Khumalo at left back, Tulani Hlachwayo, and so on and so on. Those guys now, they were coming in one by one into the national team. You maybe see one or two of them, and that's it. But then what happened to that team? Why did you dismantle it? You go back to 2000, where the team that beat Brazil in the Olympics.
Yes,
and,
in the Olympics,
I mean, the likes of Jabu Matlangu, Quentin Fortune, Siyabonga Nomvete, and Kipiteni Matombo, Stanton Fredericks. I remember even Matthew Booth playing for years in Russia without being called. And he was one of the star players of that team. But yet he took years, and it was through media interviews that people actually were forced in the end to select him. How is that so? You're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's not like you don't have the players. You do have the players. You can go back to the basics. I think we can go somewhere. You talk about fighting for your spot in the under 13 provincial team and so on and so on. Do we even have schools football anymore? Because that's a big, in our football. If you don't have that, I'm telling you, you're sitting with big problems. If you're playing football, I don't know about this thing, that this theory that people talk about, that for you to excel in your chosen field, you need to train for 10,000
hours.
Now, if we were to use that argument, it means you must have played football for 10,000 hours. Where do you get that? So if you are getting it at school level, while you're still young, you're 15, 16, even the things that you used to do wrong, now you've perfected them because now you've worked on your craft. And in this case, what I see, and I'm sure a lot of people can vouch for me, what you see in villages now is kids come off school and then they go drink in taverns. That's what they do. They become drunkards. They don't become doctors and so on and so on. In the past, in our time, we never had time for that. We never had time to go see this girl or date this guy and so on and so on. We never had time for that. What happened was, I'll go to school, play football at school. Afterwards, we'll even have a team from our village. Then we'll play. There was no time for anything else. Now kids are focused on the wrong things, and we don't even see it.
So there was structures in society that allowed for kids to have their attention put on sports because those things were available. But unfortunately, for us, sometimes in schools, governments have decided to put in measures or to change things. But those are really unfortunate. But if we go back to the under 23s. And say, okay, fine, David Notwana, you have a situation where this is the pool of players that you have. Unfortunately, we're not great at moving those players on, but you have a situation where this is the team that you have right now. In terms of preparation, David Notwana has had calls with Australia. We've tried to get a friendly with the USA. Those things have not happened because of COVID and situations that are beyond our control. Maybe people at SAFA can tell us why those things didn't happen, but either way, this is where we are now. Do you think that we're going to be undercooked in terms of our preparation because we haven't played international matches? Even the camp that we have now, we've only got locally based players because we couldn't get international based players into the country.
Yes, absolutely. We are failing to prepare, and they'll tell you, if you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. That's how they'll put it. That's how they'll put it. And it doesn't matter how good you are. Yes, we have a good team, a very good team, in fact. We have a very good team. Now, those players, some of them, and most of them, in fact, have never played together. They don't know each other, these guys, And for you now to cut, to have a squad from the 40 players, and then now to have your squad for the Olympics. The preparations were supposed to help you with that. Preparations in what? In terms of games, in terms of proper friendly games. That's where you were supposed to see this guy can fit in here, this guy can't fit in because of this and that, and so on and so on. Then eventually you'll have a very good team, not just on paper, but also in terms of what happens on the field of play.
So are you saying that So are you saying that Mulefinteki was right talking about cohesion and, you know?
You see.
No, but okay. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that it would have been best for us to be better prepared and to get some game time in these guys.
Mm.
But this is the situation that we're in right now. But anyway, let's look at the 40-man squad itself. What do you think of
I
the
love it.
makeup of the squad? You know, we've got Andile Jali, not Andile Jali, Tembazwane, Percy Tau,
Mm.
and Ronan Williams as the senior
Ronan Williams,
players. We have
yeah,
so many
Ricardo Ball.
good players. You
Mm.
know, in the makeup of the squad, we've got Lyle Foster, we have this Gaugelo Chauke, we've got so many guys, you know, Zakele Lipasa, you know. What do you
So
think
many.
of the makeup of the 40-man squad that he's chosen so far?
I mean, from the overage players, he's got some decent players.
Yeah,
From the other players as well, from the other group, you know, I wouldn't complain. I'm
yeah,
very happy to see that team. To add to the names that you've already mentioned, there's Luther Singh, there's
yeah,
Nkosing Pilen over there. You know, so many players
yeah,
that can actually do, and players that have actually been with the junior teams for quite some time.
yeah,
Tendo Mukumela at center back. You know, Teshas Malepe has been there for
yeah,
some time. Katlego Mohammed has been there for some time.
yeah,
Those are the players that you know, contribute to making this a very good team. You know, so for me, this is a team that even when the coach has to cut down, it's
yeah.
going to be very difficult for him. You know, very difficult. And I think in the end, some people may be unhappy with him because he's going to be forced to
Yeah,
leave out some good players. You know, and I pray that we go back to that with the senior national team as well, where you
yeah,
spoil for choice. You know,
yeah,
I remember the time of the 90s in midfield. Just to give you an example, in defensive midfield, you'll have
yeah,
Eric Tinkler,
yeah,
you'll have Linda Butelezi, you'll have John Moeti, and
yeah,
in the end, I think John Moeti played about 29 games for the national team,
yeah.
which is not enough for a
Yeah, but
midfielder of this
it's
caliber.
because there was
You know,
competition.
absolutely. There was
Yeah,
Eric there.
yeah,
There was Linda there. If you go to
yeah,
center back, there was Neil Jovi, there was
yeah,
Lucas Kadebe. You
yeah,
know, the list goes on. If we
yeah,
go anywhere else, attacking midfielders, you'll have Doc Kumalo, you'll have Shoes Mushe. Ah, man.
yeah.
Even if someone is not there, it was not a problem. Can we
Okay,
get back there? Can get back to that? We can. We do have the players to
yeah.
get back into that situation. The other thing is, I also think we don't scout for players across the country. We're focusing on specific areas.
So when
That for me.
you want us to give Prince Obayeni a job, Prince must go out and scout people there.
Yes, it must be all over the place. You know, when you're
Yeah,
scouting in the country, I expect you to be in Venda. I don't expect to get an Eric Mato by chance.
yeah,
Where Owen Dapa was there just minding his own business, invited to this match to watch a striker. Then all of a sudden he sees this defender. You know, what if
yeah,
Owen never went there?
yeah,
It means we'll probably never have seen Eric Mato.
yeah,
You know, that for me is the problem. So we should be able to scout properly across the country and get the cream of the crop to come
yeah,
through, you know,
yeah.
and represent the nation. And I do believe that we do have, you know, good enough players to compete against the best teams in the world. But as long as we're not doing things right, we can't get it right.
Okay. Well, if you look at that squad itself, right? We
Yeah.
have we have amassed what we think are the best of the best in terms of South African based under 23 players, internationally based under 23 players, and some
Yeah,
older players, because you are allowed a few older players.
sure.
If you were to say this is Tiyani Mabasa's 11 starting 11, who would that team, who would be in that team?
Yeah, putting myself in David Matone's shoes, you know,
Yeah,
quite hot. You know, it's not easy, but the issue, the first issue will be, let me pick my 3 overage players.
okay,
Ronan Williams, goalkeeper,
yeah,
Musali Busa, center back,
Yeah.
Pesita striker. Those will
Yeah.
be my over 8 players. How
Okay.
then do I integrate them into the team? I'll put Ronan Williams in goal. In front of him, at centre back, I'll put Teshas Malepe has been there,
Yeah.
doing well for the team. And I know some people criticize him and so on sometimes, but he remains important, I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then Musali Busa alongside him, even though they are both left-footed
Yeah.
centre backs, I think we can work around it. And then at the right back, I'll have Reef Frosler
Okay.
from Kaiser Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And
Yeah.
then left back, I'll have Bongani Sam. So that
Okay.
will be my defense. In a
That's a
4-4-2
strong
system,
defense.
it's a very strong defense.
Yeah.
In midfield, my first choice will always be Grant Magaman, considering where he comes from with the team. But again, this situation is similar to Mondlin Porto. It's not played the whole season at
Yeah.
Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't play a guy like that. I would rather play someone who's been doing well, playing consistently throughout the season. And
Yeah.
that name is Tefelos Tole, who plays for Belenenses in
Yes. In Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
I'll put him there. That boy is going very far. For him to be nicknamed after Yaya Toure, it should tell us a lot. And then left midfield, I'll play Nkosing Pilengob.
Okay.
Put him
Chiefs.
there from Chiefs. Then to partner Stolle in midfield,
Yeah.
I'll go for either Tebogo Mokoena or Sipombole. But in this case, the one who's played better this season is Sipombole. I'll go for him
Okay.
to play there, and then the other positions up front, like right wing and the strikers, I think I'll go with Luther Singh at right wing.
Yeah.
And then play Pesitao up front.
Yeah.
And I'm praying that maybe Zakelele Pasa will recover because had he been fine,
He's had
he will be
injuries.
my
Yeah.
he will be my target man and playing, maybe Pesitao playing just behind him.
Okay.
And we know with the assists, he was going to give it to him, was going to finish, So
Yeah.
that will be my team, And I
Yeah.
think I've left out some other good players who I'll have any day, like Giftlings
Yeah.
at left wing,
Yeah.
I'll have him any day. But the reality is that we have so many good players. You have to choose the 11. But at the end of the day, I think it's a very strong 11.
Okay. Well, and taking into account that obviously you can have you'll have 23 men, I think that's a strong starting lineup, and we've got room enough to have, because you basically take what, almost 2 teams with you, so you've got enough space for you to have two really good players in each position. But that said, our first game is on the 22nd of July. We play against Japan, the hosts, and the rest of the group has Mexico and France. That's not an easy group at all for us to get out of.
Not at all.
But I think we can spring some surprises actually, and I think we can do well against Japan, against Mexico, against France. I think we have to hit and hope. But against Japan and Mexico, I think we can do well. What do you think about our group itself?
Yeah, even against France, we've beaten them in our World Cup.
Yeah.
We could fancy our chances, but obviously this is a different level.
Yeah.
But first of all, Japan, we've played them, I think, a couple of times, and what I picked up when we played against them, they beat us for pace. So it means you have to slow down the game. It means you need players like Sipombole. If you watch the way he plays, he controls the pace of the game.
Yeah.
You need players like that to slow down those guys. They're too fast. You need players like Tebogo Mokoena to slow them, to slow them down. In defense, you have Musali Busa, who can slow down the game. So you need that sort of approach. We can win against them. Mexico, they're not well beaters. We can beat them anytime. Even France, if we set up properly, we could surprise them as well.
Yeah.
From what I can see, is that we are capable of getting out of this group.
Yeah.
And going further in the competition.
Yeah.
For me, we have a good enough team to do well. Now the ball is in David Notone's court to pick the right players.
Yeah.
The 23-man squad, but also very important is that he picks the right 11. After that, everything is going to work out in our favor. I know I had a lot of discussions with my colleagues. They were saying, no, we'll come out in the first round. And I said, no, not with the kind of players that we have. I think with the kind of players that we have, we are more than capable of reaching the next round.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that we've got a good squad. The group is tough, but I don't think it's impossible for us to get through. And in my opinion, I think that we're going to we could surprise some people and come through that one quite well. But before we let you go, Mr. Mabasa, Far Post has grown and it continues to grow. Tell people what led to you actually deciding to do this, to go this route on your own, and where people can actually find Far Post.
Yeah, Naps, it's good that sometimes you sit back and reflect on your life and realize that some of these things you can do them yourself. And I think for most of us, we live in fear. We live in fear in a sense that we depend on the next person for survival, And I think I figure that it's important also to establish a Black-owned publication that not only inspires the current generation but also the young generation as well. To show everybody that whatever you want to achieve is more than possible. I know it's early days for us. It's almost 2 years, but I know, even when we are gone, we're no longer in this world. I know Far Post would have inspired others. And if you check the kind of media, the publications that are coming up now, people are establishing their own media publications. They should be inspired. We see a lot of that happening right now. So for me, it was that. I actually had this dream to establish my own publication at age 30, and unfortunately it took 8 more years to actually do it, because I live with this fear, that what if I leave my job and this happens and so on and so on. But now I'm 200% fine. I'm 200% fine. And along the way, by God's grace, we found an investor who understands football very, very well. And that has actually put Far Post in a very good situation. And that's why I say, even if I'm there or I'm not there, Far Post will thrive and will do very well.
Yeah. And where can people find Far Post? And I know there's a talk about a YouTube channel coming. There's an app. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Apps. We have the app, which is our primary, objective. The app, we call it a one-stop shop. The app, that's where you get your football news, breaking news, transfers, everything. You'll be first on Far Post. And you have your live scores. Every country in the world where they're playing football, you'll find your scores there. Even highlights, for that matter. You get highlights. If Kaizer Chiefs play Mamelodi Sundowns today, if you didn't watch the match, you can always go and check the highlights as well. So it's quite a big platform that we are trying to improve, on a daily basis. And I think in a few years' time, it should be in a position where everyone has, they're going to have the app, because of the kind of offering that we give to our readers. I think it's going very far.
No, that's fantastic, T-Man, and I completely agree. It's a one-stop shop. It should be where you get all of your football-related news, be it local or international football. Far Post is a great platform. I think you guys have done amazingly well, and I wish you guys the very best going forward. And I hope you guys grow, man. I mean, we need these different voices to give us, perspectives, because, we can't always rely on the establishment, But here we are.
Absolutely.
Thank you, TT, for coming on today, and talking to us about football. And we hope that the team will do well in China, or in Japan, I mean.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. And good luck to the team. And I know they will represent us well. And also, to appreciate you, man, for giving us the platform it's highly appreciated.
Yeah.
I value it very, very much.
Titi, thank you so much for giving us the time, man. You're a legend in this journalism space, and we can only be grateful for you giving us your pearls of wisdom on football in general. But ladies and gentlemen, we will see you again next week.